Welcome to Spectrum Sports Corner. My name is Thomas Savante, and I'm the Senior Sports Editor at the UB Spectrum, joined by Nathaniel Mendelson, the Sports Desk Editor at the UB Spectrum. We're coming off a historic win, you could say the least, for the Bulls. 6-1 for the first time since 1959, 24-6 against the Akron Zips. What are your big takeaways from this?
Well, our big takeaway from this is that this is a team that Buffalo hasn't seen in years. We have an exciting offense, exciting defense. We have NFL caliber players on both sides of the ball. And frankly, this is a team that you can envision winning the MAC championship, a team that can go on to a bowl game, a team that can come home with a trophy at the end of the season, something we haven't seen since 2008.
Speaking of bowl games, today we are bowl eligible. And unlike last season, where the last game of the year we managed to become 6-6 and got a last-second bowl eligibility, that didn't exactly pan out well for us. This year we got it much earlier. What do you think that says, especially for Buffalo's chances of not just getting a bowl, but maybe a more prestigious bowl?
Well, I think after last season, it really motivated our team. We were one of the 3 teams in the country who was eligible and did not get a bowl game, mainly due to the MAC and the conference limits we have. But, Leipold has stressed this whole season, and so are the players, that, 6 wins is just a mark. They want to be to 6 wins, but they have other goals on the season.
If you put yourself in a good position to compete in the conference race, every game is important.
Post-game, KJ Osborne, Anthony Johnson, Jared Patterson, all 3 guys, all focus on the next game. What we want is another win. They want to keep going. They want to win the MAC championship when they head to Detroit. They want to get bowl games, and they want to have national exposure that this team really deserves.
We got out on a good start. Last year, we had to, kind of make sure we got it together. Like those last 3 games, we went on a winning streak. But we're just gonna keep, strings together every week. To be bowl eligible, to make it to far in the MAC championship and things like that. So we're gonna keep working hard, but it does feel good that we got on a nice start and start fast.
Anthony Johnson was back in performance today in uniform. We've seen Kevin Marks and Jared Patterson, 2 freshman running backs, just take over for them. KJ Osborne has been a workhorse for them, and you still have one of the top offensive lines in the country.
The pass D just seemed very on a higher level than we've seen maybe all season.
The pass defense has really stepped up the past 3 weeks. I think it's now 7 interceptions we've had the past 3 weeks, and this is our first time since 2013 without allowing a touchdown. So what you're seeing is senior safety Brandon Williams, senior cornerback Cameron Lewis. You're seeing the breakouts of freshman Dupree Washington. You're seeing this unit that wasn't really very strong at the beginning of the year starting to mesh together.
The Zips themselves kind of held Buffalo in the beginning of the game for about the first 2.5 quarters, really holding them to about a 10-point lead, forcing an interception in the red zone, forcing the field goal unit to come out twice, 1 miss, 1 made. This game was far more, the main starter unit really brought it at the end and really kind of secured it in the closing minutes there. What were your thoughts?
Well, it was a bit of an interesting game for the Bulls, because typically we're used to seeing the Bulls have outscored their opponents by over 50 points in the first quarter of the season. And to see them struggle and be slow on offense was a bit of a surprise to me. This Akron team is known for its rush defense, which kind of wasn't as heralded as they were this week. And to see Buffalo not take advantage of the passing game, whether that's, because they weren't able to get open or Jackson just wasn't finding them, it's a bit surprising to me. Anthony Johnson, who hasn't played the past 2.5 weeks, was targeted on the first play. It was an overthrow, unfortunately, but just to see him get back in action should have given this offense a bigger dimension and something that they should have been able to capitalize on. So without them being able to really take advantage in the first quarter and keep going, showed a lot of resiliency in this team, something we haven't really seen. And only we haven't seen that is because they've been up by 20 points at the half, something they don't need to worry about. So with this team's potential and the capability, we know what they're capable of. We've seen it this season. It definitely shouldn't have started off like this.
You saw it in the Rutgers game. You've seen it in the Army game as well. Kind of the pocket collapses and Tyree makes the most of the situation. Today was a little different. Instead of Tyree kind of making a lot of pass plays happen downfield off this, a lot of rushing from a QB that was kind of touted as being this rushing quarterback. What did you kind of think of it?
Well, Tyree Jackson hasn't really run this year, and that's all dating back to last year when he had a knee injury. So, we've seen him be able to develop more as a pocket quarterback, but he still has the ability to extend plays with his legs. So part of the reason he wasn't sacked for the first 5 weeks of the season was that ability to roll out to the right and find an open receiver downfield. And you saw that today. You saw that on a long completion to KJ Osborne. And really with Tyree, the thing with him is that the coaches, I'm sure, approve of it, and they see him getting better. And they really see that he has the ability to make these reads that are impressive to NFL scouts and to anybody watching. But Tyree's big factor with him is he's 6'7". He is taller than almost everybody else on that field. And his ability to use his legs and take over the game in the rushing yards, I mean, he converted a 3rd and 12 and a 3rd and 13, each very easily just off of scrambling. And just that extra dimension that adds him as a quarterback really is what makes this offense so great.
It's great that, when you have a player his caliber, on the field, it makes us a better football team. I think it helps confidence-wise, obviously for Tyree and really the rest of the offense, probably and the whole team. But I think what it does takes a little of that pressure off KJ Osborne that's been there, and I think but how much was he going to be truly available?
Thank you for joining us for the first edition of the Spectrum Sports Corner. I'm Thomas Avante.
I'm Nate Mendelson.
That's about it.